I mean, just, I think for anyone doing business, we sometimes think there's business and there's storytelling, right? There is monetizing and there's storytelling. But what you need to understand is like storytelling is at the heart of
Hmm.
anything that you're doing, marketing, selling, positioning, impacting people. It's all part of storytelling. And I love the way you just kind of made the distinction between the ideas heavy, focus and the story focus. Now, you said to us 2020 change everything, right? And by the way, I
Yeah.
think that's around the same time we met. So tell us what changed everything in 2020.
Right. So at the dawn of 2020, we know that the whole world got shut down with the pandemic, and so uh, I think that really affected me psychologically. I was like, wow, I can't go to church. I can't do ministry in the way that I want to do ministry. This was, I think, by this time it was 3 years into my ministry as a youth pastor, and things were going really well. But then all of a sudden, everything just stopped. Right. But the one thing that I had again, is content creation. Like this is my therapy. So I went back into
Mm-hmm.
creating, and at the time, as I was doing a lot of stuff on YouTube at the time, early 2020, when one of my youth at my church said, "Hey, Pastor Kevin, have you heard of TikTok?" I was like, "I don't know what are you talking about. What is TikTok?" He said, "Well, it's just an app that yeah, people are into right now, and I think you'll like it." So I got on it. I downloaded the app, and after 3 hours, I was like, "Why am I still on this app?" And I got sucked in, Kim on. I was like, wow, this is, and it was incredible. It was an incredible experience. I was so depleted by the end of that all that time. I was just mindlessly scrolling, but then I was also impressed at just the infrastructure, the architecture of this app. It's like, wow, this is such a good way to communicate information. It was like unlike anything that I've seen before. I mean, short form video up until that point was not a thing in the way
That's
that
right.
it is
You're right.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
So TikTok really revolutionized uh, just content creation, but also content appreciation from the other side. So I decided, let me just experiment some stuff here. And so I decided to just make some devotional content, just basically me taking the phone and just talking to it and just like doing like a real motivational talk to that and putting it at zero expectations. I had no expectations of growing, this and that, none of that. Going viral, I didn't even know what going viral meant. None of that. It was just for the joy, pure joy of creating. Then one day I decided, let me just document my chai making process. So it's for those of you again who have no idea what I'm talking about. By chai, I mean spiced milk tea that is very endemic to a country that I'm from, Sri Lanka, South Asia, parts of Africa, certain parts of Europe. And this is the beverage that I grew up drinking. So tea, I remember my dad making it for us, my mom making it for us. My grandfather was a tea plantation worker in the tea estate, so I remember having tea with my grandfather. So tea was just it's a symbol of culture, meaning, all of that stuff. So I've always drunk tea. I've always made tea, especially as a way to connect to my roots. And so I said, let me just make it, and I will just document the process, and I will just put it online, and just for the sake of putting it online. Also, I remember the reason I put it online was because at the time a lot of people were just obsessed with Starbucks, and people are obsessed with
Yeah.
Starbucks chai tea, the chai tea latte in Starbucks, which I tried. I thought that was the chai, but then I was absolutely disappointed. Is not the word. I was just gutted, like I was devastated as to what they were done with this amazing drink. And so I decided, let me just make my own this and teach people how to do it. Uh, within within the next hour, I saw my notifications blow up and kept blowing up and blowing up and blowing up, and I was just like, what's going on? And I see the follower count, and I refresh the page. It's just growing, growing and growing. I'm like, what's happening? Like I had like 200 followers at the time, and then within the next hour I had 2,000, and then within the next few minutes I had 3,000, and then 4,000. I was like, what is going on? This is insane. I had never experienced anything like that before. And within less than 48 hours, I went from 200 to like 20K followers.